Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Healthy Doubt blog on the Common Sense channel. Today's topic is sleep. Now, this is a blog about the elephants in the room. Elephants in the room means things which are in plain sight but you cannot see them. So, things like God. You keep talking about God, but you have, of course, not seen God. Things like love. You keep talking about love also. And again, you have not seen, or most people have not even been touched by it in any way. Things like purpose. You keep talking about purpose, and it's very difficult to define for most people. So it's about elephants in the room like that. Now, these are, of course, all big elephants, and there are smaller elephants also. Things like sleep are smaller elephants in the room. So today's blog post or uh, vlog post is about sleep. Like every other elephant in the room, sleep also is something that everyone will claim to know about. So if I ask you, what is sleep? What is it? Most people will say, sleep is sleep, but still, what is it? So then most people will tend to say, sleep is rest. Now, if sleep is rest, then what is the difference between this kind of sleep and this kind of rest, so to speak? Both cases, body is lying immobile, not doing anything. So you might think sleep is a deeper form of rest, or you might say it very astutely that sleep involves loss of consciousness. That is, that even your consciousness is taking a rest. Is that a nice way to put it? That the consciousness also rests? You can say it that way. It's one way of saying it. Now, if I get to another aspect of things, and let's say I want to ask you, what have you done in the last 10 years? So, most people will think back and say, oh, yeah, we went to school, then we went to college, then we got a job, maybe we got married, things like that. Now, when you're talking about the things you have done in the last 10 years or 15 years or 20 years or whatever, it's something you have done. What you're doing is you're only talking about the days, you're not talking about the nights. About one third of our life is spent sleeping. So, is that all useless time? Is that all time that is just going in a way to prepare for the days, to prepare for the waking moments, as it were? Does that make sense? It is a it is a very mainstream narrative. It is a narrative that you would also believe to a large extent. What have you done in the last 10 years? Think about it. Are you thinking about the nights also that you were sleeping? You're surely not thinking about that. This is a way that we have been taught to think about things like sleep, things like night. But the night is about sleeping, it is about dreaming, it is about some kind of la la land. And obviously, you say it is unreal because when you talk about sleep, when you talk about the night, it is after you have woken up in the morning. So, in the morning, you wake up and you say that you had dreams which were unreal. Now, there is something to understand about context and perspective. Context means from where you are talking about something. The perspective is shaped by the context from where you are talking about it. So, right now, you and I are meeting in this waking moment. In this waking moment, the dream looks like an unreal thing. Supposing I had met you in the dream and I asked you, what are we doing here? What is going on here? At that time, can you say it is unreal? At that time, there is no context of waking moment. So, that time, of course, you will not say it is unreal. Inside the dream is the real thing. There is no waking moment. So, when I talk from the context of the dream, it is the real moment. Now you will say that, oh, but my sleep does not mean only dreams. My sleep is, REM moments, which are dreaming moments, and non REM moments, which is deep sleep. And hold your horses. Where is all that knowledge coming from? Again, all that knowledge is coming from the waking moment, our current context. From the dream state, is that context relevant? No, it's not. The dream state is completely real in the dream state. So, what's going on? What if I told you that most things in life are a kind of wave motion? They are a certain propagation of a wave as it moves forward. The sounds we hear are like this. So there is an entire spectrum of wave motion in which we hear a tiny spectrum. That is the range of listening for the human being. Everything you see is also in a range of wave motion. There is a lot of ultraviolet light that you do not see. There is infrared light which you do not see. Very little of the wave motion is in the visible spectrum, and that you do see. Even all movement is basically wave motion. So if my hand goes moving this pen this way, it's actually going through wave motion. Even if I move it across straight like this, even then it is actually going through a very fine wave. So everything is wave motion in that way. And you are also wave motion. It's not that you are exempt from this. See, certain things are just realities. When you find something that is universally applicable, you should assume that it will apply to more things than you have seen it uh, in the context of. So, in this way, if you consider wave motion as applicable to a human being also, then this this part here, this moment before you fall asleep, this is when one kind of wave that we were during the day comes to an end, and another kind of wave that we are during sleep cycle comes into play. This is also about a certain honesty. Do you have a certain honesty with yourself, with the way you look at life, with the people around you? It is an honesty with the language that you speak when you're with people. If you have this honesty, you have to understand that you do not go to sleep. You get pushed into sleep mandatorily. If you have any doubts about what I'm saying, that you don't go to sleep, you get pushed into it mandatorily, uh, try to avoid going to sleep. Try to avoid going to sleep and just see if you can avoid it. How long can you avoid it? I'm telling you, you will get pushed into it. By default, by design, you have to enter this cycle because wave motion has to get fulfilled. And what is this fulfillment of wave motion? Reality ends. As you know it, reality ends. You enter another dimension. This is the fair way of saying it. This is not my way. This is a more honest way than you are accustomed to. But this is the fair way of saying it, that it is a deconstruction of reality. If you really pay attention, have you ever noticed how you fall asleep? Ever notice the moment at which reality ends and dreams begin? You will be relaxed, you will be sitting in a chair, or you will be lying on your bed, and your friend walks in, but he has horns on his head. Something like that can happen. You notice this, but you don't find it odd. Or let's say you're lying in bed, you think of an arbitrary thought, like maybe you're sitting at work and your boss walks by and he's taller than he usually is. Again, you notice it, but you don't find it odd. This is how reality begins to um, fall apart and a dream starts to take form. It is your noticing which begins to fall asleep. It is your discretion which begins to fall asleep. You are entering REM sleep, rapid eye movement sleep. Eventually, you will give up even the REM sleep and fall into a deeper non REM sleep. And 8 to 10 hours of your day goes into this. What can it be other than wave motion? And in this way, because your reality changes, it is you who is entering another dimension. Now, if we talk about this image at the top that we just spoke about some time back, that this is the moment before sleep. By the way, this image is from another book of mine. Let me know if you know which book that is. So, but if we talk about this moment and we talk about how this day ends over here, the night begins, dream begins, sleep begins, this cycle, if you take it and stretch it out, it looks something like this. Now, this is something from my fitness tracker, which I use to monitor sleep. And here you will see something happening, that this entire cycle is a series of smaller cycles. Smaller cycles being you're awake here, then you go into this REM sleep, the dream state. You go into a lighter sleep, and then you go into a deep sleep. That's according to what the watch tells me, the fitness tracker is telling me. In other words, you are disappearing from this dimension here and entering this dimension here. This dimension is again composed of a series of waves. Is this a better way of understanding sleep than how you conventionally understand it? We are using intelligence here to understand things. We are talking about things that are observable. We are talking about things that are verifiable. We are not talking about mainstream narrative. Now, you might have recently seen this opening ceremony of the Paris Olympics, which was widely regarded as a disgusting, grotesque, shameless thing. It was a very weird ceremony, and in many ways, you can say it is the mainstreaming of mental illness in our society. Social media was full of posts like this, which said things like, why did our children have to see this character's testicles here? This is, of course, mainstream narrative. And if you are a mainstream person, you will definitely find this objectionable. You will find it disgusting. But if you are this character, you will say, why shouldn't my testicles be seen? That's how it is. That's which of these two questions is valid? Why should you see his testicles, or why shouldn't you see his testicles? You know, time is like a snake shedding its skin. The old skin was order, morality, things like good versus bad. The new skin is intelligence. Intelligence is a thing that dismisses morality right in the beginning and tries to work with what is right and what is wrong instead. So, from good and bad, we go to something called right and wrong. I've been blogging about this for a while. In that way, order and morality was an older skin, intelligence is the new skin. But can you dismiss collective morality of the world just like that? I'll get into that some other day. Today's question is about two questions. Why should you see his testicles? Why shouldn't you see his testicles? Which of these two is a more valid question? And which is the correct answer? Is this a good way to understand sleep, what I just showed you? Or was your previous understanding of sleep better? The weighing of these questions, the weighing of the answers, is what our time is about. And that's the thing with the intelligence. You have to get it right. You have to ask the right question and you have to come up with the right answer. Otherwise, it can become a mess very quickly. This is why I repeatedly say that we are living in the age of mental disorders. This is one of the older blogs in 2022, I think, where I'm telling you about the age of intelligence. And of course, you can find it here at the same website, healthydoubt.blogspot.ae. Healthydoubt.blogspot.ae was the previous avatar of this blog before it had shed its skin and worn this new one. Hope you enjoyed that. We'll be back later. Thanks.